Check 1 2, check 1 2. Can you hear us? What do you think? Are we good?
I think so.
Because we are Team Ninja RE and we are live. All right, so all the messing around over with. This is episode 2 of the Team Ninja Real Estate Podcast. This is Cold Calling Karate Part 2. You got anything you want to say?
Hi, how's everyone doing this week?
Kelsey is supposed to be the one asking all the questions here. We're going to get into a rhythm. I can promise you that. But before we jump right into Cold Calling Karate Part 2, which you're going to be excited about some of the things we do to turn cold contacts into warm leads and have a system for nurturing them. But before we do that, I thought it's important to talk a little bit about who we are, so you wonder why you're tuning into us every week. Actually, that was Hank's idea, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Kelsey's.
It's Kelsey's idea.
Hey, we gotta give her credit for that.
Okay, it's Kelsey's idea.
I think women just like to make things a little more personal. We like to talk.
So then tell us why you're here. Tell us,
am I here?
Yeah, tell us how you came to this point in your life where you are on a real estate podcast with Hank and myself.
I think just the right place, the right time, meeting the right people, and God brought us all together. I have recently gone through a divorce and I'm a single mom, so I am looking to support my kid and be independent. So it's just an interesting time that we're all here together on the show.
Sure. And what was your background before?
Oh, so I was a teacher, and I taught up at University of Florida at Baby Gator, the preschoolers, the little munchkins there. And then I got into working at my family's furniture shop. So I did staging and decorating out of there for the past 10 years. So, yeah.
So it's safe to say that you are an expert in staging and decorating and making things look right. Is that what you say your ninja superpower is?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you need to do my place for sure. It's too manly.
Hank's got the bachelor pad over there.
Yeah, you know it. Oh man, Ralph, tell us about yourself. How about you tell us why you're here, what qualifies you, and let's go from there.
All right. Well, I'll jump in, I guess, and share first. I have been in the real estate industry for 25 years. I have built a couple of real estate companies.
Mm-hmm.
I actually built a mortgage company as well along the line in the very beginning, and that got absorbed by a bigger company, and Dodd-Frank came along and really changed how mortgages was done somewhere along the line. But during that process, I started a real estate company with a couple of partners, and we ended up having a franchise for a national franchise for 10 years. And we went right into the real estate recession while we had that franchise. Yeah. And I was able to survive that period because I was able to just adapt my business.
Absolutely.
And I also think one of my superpowers is seeing changes in the market before they happen. And I saw it coming. And so I already put together, because I had a mortgage background, I put together a short sale operation. And my wife actually, who processed loans for me, started processing short sales, which is a very similar process. A whole lot of files where if you're processing a loan, you're helping to prove they qualify. If you're processing a short sale, you're documenting proof that they don't qualify for the house they own, and that's why the bank needs to help them. Yeah. And I never thought I was going to get into real estate. I started off on the mortgage side, and I spent a lot of that time trying to teach real estate agents how to be good at their job so that they could send me business. You're laughing because this is where it's going. And this is back before there was a lot of online advertising. I mean, the internet was dial-up. All right, this is 1999. The internet was dial-up. And so I came up with all kinds of marketing tactics. One of them was call capture leads. And back then, you would dial a 1-800 number for pre-recorded information on different subjects. And we would publish the ad in magazines, in the Homes book, in the newspaper. I'd have this ad that said looking for answers or praying for answers. And there's a picture of a church. We can help you with all your real estate and mortgage questions. Then they have the 800 number and different extensions where you'd listen to an audio mailbox of me bloviating about a different subject. And it was great. And one of them that I did, I put in the classified section in the apartments for rent section that said option to buy local area homes. Exercise your option to be a homeowner instead of a renter today. And they let me put in the apartments for rent section. And when they called it, explained, listen, this is not a rent to own program. This is not a land contract. You wouldn't believe that you probably qualify for a mortgage because most people don't really believe they do.
Right.
But if you if you give us a call, we'll qualify you. And we would get a text on our pager every time somebody called. And it would have
That's how you know how old Ralph is.
Yep.
He's got a page.
I had a pager, and I wasn't a drug dealer or a doctor. I was a mortgage guy at the time. And the pager would give you the phone number of the person that was calling, and then a dash and the digit, the 4-digit code of whatever mailbox they accessed. So you know what the subject was, and you pick up the phone, and you would call them back using scripting. I saw that you called on our option to buy ad. I'm here to answer your questions. And I was generating buyer leads, getting them pre-approved, and handing them to realtors. Now, you would think, that's beautiful, right?
Any realtor would want that.
Oh, my God. Here's what I learned about realtors. They aren't very smart. They don't work very hard, and they're not very loyal. Now, that's not all, but it's a good percentage. So I became one. I figured if the bar is that low, I can do this business. And I can teach people from the inside. And I didn't just become one. We started a brokerage right away.
Yeah. Because
I figured I want to work with people that are going to do business right, do business the way that I want them to do business. So for me, it was kind of like in the boiler room when he asks if anybody has a securities license, and when they already have a license, he throws them out because he wants to start from scratch. Yeah. I wanted to build a company starting from scratch with no bad habits from any other brokers. And it was a very weird way to get in, is start real estate by starting a brokerage. But I did, and my boss in the real estate, or in the mortgage industry, Randy at the time, came along, and I said, you could be the broker. I just want to be really good at selling. I don't want to be in charge of anything.
Right.
And a couple of years later, the bottom fell out, and all that was left was REOs and foreclosures, and that was all that was going on in our market. But I was already doing exclusively those. And I ended up buying out my partners because I was generating all the revenue. And we've had a great relationship since. I brought on an assistant who became my partner. And after the franchise ended, and we were an independent company, we got approached by EXP. And I thought I was never going to join somebody else's company again after being in a franchise. Until I learned the power of cloud-based brokerages. And we came along, we blew up. And then a couple of years later, the opportunity came along to go to the company we're with now, Epic Realty. And so really, I went from a really good company to a company that just had a little more to offer and had a new ground floor opportunity and the ability to start with something from the beginning. Because I felt like I kind of missed out on that excitement at the last company. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm a startup guy.
Yeah.
And now we're starting this up together.
Yeah.
But that whole time I've spent teaching agents how to be good at what they do. And I seek out information from other trainers. I don't invent every idea myself. As a matter of fact, a lot of the ideas that we're going to share with you aren't ideas we invented. They're ideas that we have taken from other places and implemented and perfected, and we know they work. Right. So we're not throwing you somebody else's garbage that we don't know if it works or not. But definitely a lot of the stuff we do, we learned from people, because if you're going to be good in this industry, you're going to seek out training, and then you're going to make it your own a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm here to take all the stuff that we made our own, that you've made your own, that I've made my own, and also that Kelsey brings here, being fairly new to the industry, but having that fresh new agent face, along with my experience, and we're going to talk about Hank's, and that's how we ended up here doing this. So you
awesome.
Go.
Awesome. Oh, it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Wait, I gotta follow that.
You gotta follow that. I warned you to go first.
Oh man. So funny enough, I accidentally got into real estate. I don't know if you guys know this.
I didn't.
2010, do you know what major disaster happened?
2010.
There was no hurricanes. Don't worry about the housing market going to crap.
What was it?
The BP oil spill.
Oh my gosh. I remember that in a really big way because I had family on the Gulf Coast of Alabama at the time, and I was living up north.
And the oil touched the beaches there. So the company I was working for said, "Hank, we don't need you anymore." And that basically was the end of my hospitality career, that BP oil spill. But at the end of the day, I fell into real estate, and it has been my love, my passion, my everything for 14 years now. And, my story has been, I got my broker's license in 2015. I wanted to be a broker as fast as I could and learn as much as I could in this business. And then right about the same time, I started teaching at Larson Educational Services. So not only was, in real estate, doing transactions, being a broker, but I also wanted to get back in teaching. So I've been with Larson for, gosh, man, it's got to be about 9 years now. And it's been fantastic. And I've met some of the coolest agents along the way. And it's just a lot of fun. But put that aside, I've also been privileged to run and manage a lot of companies. And so from that experience, I was able to take it, use my broker's license, build up experience. And then what I did is I took it to EXP, just like yourself, Ralph. And so when I was there, I was good at what I was good at, which was recruiting and mentoring and training and coaching agents. And that, to me, was what I loved doing ultimately. Managing someone else's company, okay, it's good, but it just wasn't where I wanted to be. And it was putting me around the same agents, except for when I was with EXP. It was national, it was international, able to reach more agents out there that need the mentoring, coaching, and training. So, and then took a little hiatus from EXP and went and managed a company, and it was great. I loved it, but after 2 years, I was missing something. And I didn't know I was missing it until this guy over here called me up. And basically, we're doing this new thing together. And we'll get into it later. But I'm just excited because I get to get back to mentoring, coaching, and training agents from all over the country.
Yeah.
Not just here hyper locally in Southwest Florida. And I think that's the power of the new venture that we're gonna take off on.
It's the power of the venture that we're with. It is the power of how the business has evolved and technology has evolved this business. And this is a very uncertain time in real estate for so many agents. You have like a triple threat here. Like you have what everybody called the black swan event, that if this ever happened, we would be ruined, happened this year.
What would that be? There's 3 things.
Well, that's the first one. That's the black swan event. Yes, that is that's the NAR settlement.
Oh yeah.
And 10 years ago, they were talking about if that ever happened, it would be a black swan event and it would be the end of traditional real estate agents. And the real estate industry was going to end up like the travel industry, where it's all been taken over by portals. But real estate is not as commoditized as travel even.
Nope.
It's not as commoditized as trading stock, which has become something that you can do on an Ameritrade or an E-Trade account, and you don't need a broker. You can do real estate without a broker. That's true. And you can do real estate with a discount broker. But most people, most buyers and sellers in the marketplace need that professional guidance. No two pieces of real estate are the same. So instead of booking one of 50 or one of 350 seats on a flight, that's the same flight at the same time, every day on the same airline, on the same kind of plane, with the same horrible food, with all that. It's different. It's different. 1 3-bedroom, 2,000 square foot house is nothing like any other 3-bedroom, 2,000 square foot house. Period. They can be in the same neighborhood, built by the same builder, built the same year, but 2 different families lived in them and changed them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that makes a difference. It makes a difference in your value. It makes a difference in the sales strategy. It makes a difference in the psychology of a buyer walking through them. They might walk through to the same house in the same neighborhood, same square footage, and one of those homeowners is not a very cleanly cat owner, and the other one looks like a model home. And the psychological feeling the buyer gets is totally different, and it wouldn't matter if the other one was priced 50 grand less. It still isn't going to matter. They didn't get that warm feeling. And so it's not a commoditized industry, no matter what anybody says about it. You as a real estate professional provide value. And if you don't provide value, you don't believe you provide value, by the way, get out. Right?
Yeah, or seek someone that has what you're desiring. But the problem is that no matter you give them the golden egg, it's what they do with it. And most of them just fumble it or throw it away or too lazy, don't want to implement it. And that's the sad thing. Like for me, I know there's enough business out there for every single agent that's in this market. There really is. But they're too lazy to go after it. There's too much competition. They're afraid of that. They don't know their scripts. They're not talking to the right agents. That's the other thing. They're not even talking to the right agents. You know, they're talking to their other new agents out there, new friends, and instead of, you know, reaching out to people that have the experience and the know about for what they're trying to accomplish in this business. So, you know, that's just my 2 cents on that.
You know what? We got a problem.
Can you hear it?
I don't know. Let me turn mine. Okay, we're good. All right, and guess what? Nobody's watching live right now. Can you believe that? And we are good. I'm going to go in and I'm going to snip that part right out, and no one will even know it was there.
Perfect.
That's the beauty, but it'll still show that we did a live podcast. By the way, you know, one of the reasons we're doing this week, I'm going to start over again, just in case. One of the reasons we're doing this week with no viewers right now is a discipline that you have to have in this business to make it.
Yeah.
The discipline of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever prospected, you've done it and got 0 results. 0. If you've ever done it for any amount of time, if you did it once and you got a bunch of deals, or you got a deal out of it, and you never did it again, that doesn't count. That's not how that works. But if you're doing it consistently, there are going to be days that you did it for nothing other than for the sake of consistency, or going to the gym. It's for the sake of consistency and having that habit, because then you'll start to see those gains, and we're going to see those gains. I'm completely confident about it. Yeah. And I know that when we turn around and promote this video, we're going to get a bunch of viewers. So when you're watching this and you're not watching live, we know it. I want you to know that we're doing this in front of a live audience of 0 right now. 0. And we don't care, because I've done this before. I've started at 0 and seen it build to thousands.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And that's a really big part of what we want you, if you learn nothing else from us, the power of consistency is probably the most important superpower you can have as an agent.
Yep, we're going to be here every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's consistency is key, and I've always said that. There's really 2 things: is don't go it alone and be consistent. You know, and I think if you do those 2 things, you're going to be at least semi-successful in this business.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah, are we gonna prolong the cold call karate part 2?
Cold calling karate part 2.
Because
we're gonna get into this, and I'll probably take this part of it and slice it up so you have an even shorter video to get to. If you watch cold calling karate part 1, what did we talk about mostly?
Cold calling? Is that a trick question?
Yes, but what I jarred you with something. I got you to what did I get you to do the double take on?
Reverse psychology.
The script.
The no.
The looking for the no instead of looking for the yes, and how that changes things. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch Cold Calling Karate Part 1. But what we're going to do here in Part 2 is I'm going to show you what we do with our leads that is Very different. All right, now I got to go in here and change these phone numbers first of all. Let's see here. Delete that. You can talk. You can have live while I do this or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that I liked about part one, and how you jarred me was going in and you, instead of trying to get me to say yes, you actually got me to say no several times,
Which was the desired answer.
which is exactly what we're looking for in the script. But that was a new concept. Like I had never heard that before, as to working towards a no instead of a yes.
Yeah, like, you know, if you're out and you're single and you meet a beautiful woman, you can walk right up to her and say, "Hi, my name is Ralph. And before you throw your drink in my face, I was wondering if I asked you out, would you say no?"
I don't know. I got my head spinning like, what do we say to Rob?
Oh man.
Thank God I don't have to worry about that.
Does she have to say yes?
If she says yes, that means she's saying no.
I know.
Yeah.
She says maybe, that's still a yes, right?
Yeah, what's a maybe?
A maybe is a lead.
Lead, okay.
That's a lead.
It's not a no.
And here's what happens when you have a lead. So you get you get the maybe. All right. So let me share my screen with you here. Let's bring this up. I'm going to share my whole screen, and it's going to turn into infinity screen for a minute there. Let's see here. Where are we? Entire screen. We don't need to share audio. Hold on. Why is it saying audio? No. Okay. Entire screen.
Dun, 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 dun.
Why won't it let me share my screen?
I don't know, but you're gonna bring it whenever that screen gets shared.
Present. Share screen. Entire screen. All right. I guess I'm going to do the first tab first, and then I'm going to do the second tab. All right. So let me pull this up here. Everybody sees it, right?
Yep. There we
Look
go.
at that. All right.
Bailey.
So this is what, yes, Mary Bailey, by the way, this is a fake phone number and a fake email address. So YouTube, do not take this down. 5555555 isn't real. Okay. Just want to make sure you know we are not sharing somebody's sensitive information. This is in something.com is because I just got rid of it. So this is a fake lead with probably an actual property address, but with a fake phone number and a fake email address. So also for our viewing public, don't go calling this lady trying to get a lead out of it. All right. Now, when we get to our script and we have our amazing call and we get the no answer, which actually means yes.
Right.
We're going to go set the appointment, but we're not going to set the appointment in here. We're going to set the appointment in follow-up boss. Okay. So I hit view more here. Oh, I have to be in the actual screen, don't I?
Yeah. I was gonna say nothing's moving there.
All right. I'm trying to idiot proof this for myself here. Hold on. All right. I have to be in the actual screen. Here I am in the actual screen. There we go. Okay. So there's a couple of different dispositions in here, and all the ones that have blue on them will create a contact immediately in follow-up boss.
Okay.
I kind of created this way of doing it myself because I love Mojo for dialing, but I really don't love it for much of anything else. That's number one. Number two, I love loading every single expired and circle prospecting list and all that into Mojo, but I don't want those people in my CRM.
Right.
Because I don't want 100,000 people in my CRM. I want the 5,000 that are actually people looking at real estate between myself and my team members that I can share with them.
Right.
I have about 20,000 in there right now.
Wow.
And most of those are Southwest Florida, but that's over 3 states. So what ends up happening is, let's say I'm talking to an expired, and they're not interested now, but I had a good conversation with them. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick seller, long-term nurture, home report. All right. Now, if I'm setting an appointment with them, I'm going to go to seller hot right there. And I'm going to hit this little appointment set button also. All right. So I'm going to show you what to do with all 3 of these in follow-up boss, but I want to show you how they get into follow-up boss. Now, Mary Bailey may be a yes, 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 and yes again, and we're doing an appointment. That's great. She might be a, hey, I'm really glad I had the chance to talk to you. You know, I might be interested in 6 months. In that case, she's a long-term nurture home report. And by the way, I'm asking right away, I'm going into the fact that, hey, I can add some value to you by sending you a report every single month that will give you your home equity. It'll show you what your house is worth. It'll track your mortgage balance. You get to go in there and tweak both of those numbers the first time out, and then it'll follow the real estate trends, and it'll follow based on your rate and your payment amount and your principal balance, what your balance is going to be each month. And you can even put in alerts that if I reach a certain amount of equity, I'm going to be interested in selling and remind me. Really good tools. So that's going to be in there. So now I'm going to go into follow-up boss here. Let's see if she showed up yet. Is that the right one? That's not the right one yet. All right, I'm going to take this email address and search by email. And the funny thing is, if I was on my own, that's the other thing. I'm not on my own MacBook. Did I tell you what happened on my MacBook?
No.
I was on a listing appointment, and the seller asked me if I wanted a bottle of water, and I said yes. Which, by the way, do not drink bottled water. We'll get into microplastics and why that stuff is killing you some other time. But
save the whales.
It's not about the whales. It's about save yourself. But I take the bottle of water. I set it down as one of those flimsy, cheap grocery store bottles of water, and it dumped over right onto the keyboard of my MacBook Pro. I brought it to the Mac shop. They said they'd have it done in a week and a half. Spent 3 weeks sitting in the shop.
Yeah, I've lost 2 Macs that way. Just the water tips over onto it. And
Oh my God.
They're gone.
I'm very, very
They're not
careful
waterproof
with
yet.
my Mac products.
My whole life was on
Knock
that
on
thing.
wood.
Oh. All right, let's take this email address and see if we can find this nice lady. There she is. All right, so here's our fake lead, and you'll notice that the system already knows it's a fake lead.
You can't see it, bro.
Oh, share this tab instead.
There
Okay,
it is.
there we go. So here she is in here, and here is this this fake lead, and you can tell because over here to the left below her name, follow-up boss already knows it's not a real number, but let's pretend it's a real number in there right now. I'd already be able to send her a text message from here, which I can't do in Mojo. I can send her an email in here, which I can do from Mojo, but I like the campaigns in here better. And I like the fact that if somebody opens your email, you can see it got open and you can look at all your statistics on emails that got opened most and all of that. There's a lot of pieces of follow-up boss that make me a follow-up freak in follow-up boss. And, you know, we'll get to that. But I love the appointment part because if I create the appointment in here, and I'm going to add the title here, so I'm going to do property marketing
You know, live, you gotta really spell correctly.
Yeah, property. It's not that I can't spell, it's that I can't type. I have fat fingers. Property marketing meeting, location. You put the actual address in there, right? So 137 Hibiscus, Fort Myers Beach. Like that. All right. It has my guest in there. What type of appointment is it going to be? Well, it's going to be a listing appointment. We don't have an outcome yet. Any notes that I put in here are going to go directly to the customer when she gets the appointment confirmation. Ralph will meet you and see, go over voyeur over your options for selling. Okay.
Yep.
Send notification, email, and text reminder. And what this will do is it will send the notification email immediately. Let's say we're doing it on the 20th, and I don't do morning listing appointments because I'm making calls in the mornings. And I go on my appointments in the afternoon. So let's say we're doing this one at 1 p.m. And I'm going to create an appointment. It's going to immediately send an email, and it's going to text her the morning of the appointment.
Okay.
All right. So already I love it. It's already in there. And now it's in my pipeline with all my other stuff. Where the stage is here to seller long-term nurture, that would actually be a seller hot if it was an appointment. When it's a listing, it's an active listing. Then, you know, so everything is in here for what they're going to be. Now, we don't really have an appointment with this lady. All right. So we're going to go through the same thing. If she was a long-term nurture, there's something else that I'm going to do from there. I'm going to go into Ylopo stars here because I'm a Ylopo user. Look at that. Currently marked as a bad number, which Ylopo is AI that'll actually
see it, Ralph.
chat with them. Oh, I got to use this tab instead. You got to remind me when I open a new tab, I have to hit
There
it.
it is.
I'm going to create a seller report for her in here. So this one here, it's already been set up automatically because I haven't set it to automatically do it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work right unless you go in and manually do it. So I manually do it afterwards. It'll give a report, but it won't give as much info. And it won't give me the info either. So I go in here and I put it in manually. So I just went and grabbed it to paste it from Follow Up Boss here. And now what you're going to see is that there's a value right there. It already has, well, this one doesn't have an estimated value. Normally it will have an estimated value. Let me try and find one that's an actual seller report here, because I'm going to show you one other thing too while we're at it.
Now, would you gauge us more on the topic last week of like CRMs versus the cold calling stuff, or are you going to tie this all together?
I'm going to tie this all together here
Okay.
in 1 second. All right. So
And what?
I didn't want to lose you.
What website are you using?
So I use Follow Up Boss, and then I use Ylopo. Okay, I'm trying to find a seller where there's an actual value because I want to show the report. So give me a minute, and I know I have one. So this lady has a report.
They should teach this kind of stuff in real estate school.
That's
All right, so
is that a jab at me?
when you look at an actual report, so I'm on the report here. When you look at an actual report, the cool thing is that it's going to show them their value. It's going to show them what direction their value is going. It's going to show them how much equity they have. This is how many buyers in my database I have looking for a home in her price range and in her zip code, in her price range.
Wow, that's insane.
So when I go on a listing appointment, I bring this with me. And I sit down and I explain to them, I already have 40 buyers in my database that I'm going to pre-market your property to as we're getting the photography and the videography and all of that stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
So because these people are going to end up being a listing appointment even if they aren't right away. So that brings it all back. And I'm going to bring it all back right now. Let me stop my share here.
That's pretty impressive, though, Ralph. I got to tell you. That's some stuff that I haven't seen before. So definitely impressive.
It creates this system. And then I have all drip campaigns for these people, depending on whether they're a long-term nurture or a warm or they are a hot lead. And all of those contacts that are in there continue to synchronize with Mojo. So I can go into Mojo and pull up all of my seller long-term nurtures and do, instead of doing a triple line dial, I'll do a single line dial of anybody I haven't talked to in 30 days. Yeah. And I go once a day and I do that. And what ends up happening is, let's say I've got 1,500 of them in there. It's going to know which 1,500 of them I haven't talked to in 30 days. Yeah. Which of those. Wow. And so if I do that every day, by the end of the month, I may have called all 1,500 of them. But with these leads, when you're dialing a raw expired, you have 5 phone numbers. You don't know which one's the right one. You don't know which email's the right one. Now I've talked to them on the phone. They've become a lead. I've eliminated all the phone numbers except for the one that works. I'm dripping on them every month what their property is worth. Right. And then I'm following up with them. And really, long-term nurture is probably every quarter, I should say. It's not every 30 days. Warm is every 30 days. Long-term nurture is every 90 days I dial them. And hot is, did I talk to them this week yet? Right. And so I go on, pull up my hots. Who haven't I dialed this week? Well, there's going to be only 15 of them in there anyway. Right. So by Tuesday or Wednesday, normally that list is empty. Right. Then I'm going to go to the warm. Who haven't I talked to in the last 30 days? Well, these are warm. You should probably have about 90 to 100 of those tops at the very most. Right. And then your long-term nurture, 1,500. Okay. So 1,500, I don't have a calculator with me right now. I don't even have my phone.
I'm a human calculator. What's the numbers?
1,500
times what?
Times divided by 90.
Oh, you want to divide it?
Yeah.
By 90?
Yeah. What is that?
It's 10, like 16.
I'm going to hold on. Is
Let's
it
see if I'm right. Let's see here.
1,500 divided by 90?
9, 15, 13,
16. Wow.
Is it 16?
Hank, 16.67.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. So
Not bad.
if you're dialing on a 90-day rotation, you need to call 16 of them a day.
Yep.
All right. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
So if you get really good at calling, in the beginning, you are just cold calling. You are cold calling expires. You're cold calling for sale by owners. You're doing circle prospecting. When you get to the level where I'm at now, what's happening is I don't have time to dial new expires anymore because I'm calling on my 16 nurtures a day. All right.
Yeah.
Plus I'm going to have 100 that I'm talking to once every 30 days, right?
Yep.
130 days. So it's actually 24 days cycle. So 100 divided by 24.
That's 4.
Right? So that means I'm talking to 4 warms a day. I'm probably talking to 1 hot a day.
Yep.
Right? So that's 22 calls, 22 contacts right there. And you're not going to get a hold of all of them every day. I get that. But you're gonna run through those and try and get as many as you can of those. That's going to take 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to spend the other 2 hours calling on, from 8 to 10, I'm going to call the brand new expires because I want to be the first one to as many of them as possible. But from 10 to 12, I'm calling those. And I don't have time to do for sale by owners and circle prospecting. So that's when you start engaging inside sales agents and you teach them how to do what you do and you have them doing that. And eventually what's going to happen is the amount of opportunity for me to call expires is going to go to 0. Because I'm going to have so many people in there that that it's going to take me 4 hours a day just to call them. But every single one of these people, when you call them, they know who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So it increases your odds of actually getting the listing when they're ready to list.
Yeah. Hey, it's Ralph again. And when they tell you screw off, bam, you trash them. They're gone off your list. All right. And so that's really important.
Yeah.
What happens then, if you have an ISA generating a long-term nurture lead for you, though, you have to call them immediately. You have to call them the next dial session. So once you have an ISA, you have a new bucket, which is like mine's a Ralph follow-up bucket. There might be 5 people in that, though. But I'm calling all 5 of those people that he's marked as a nurture already. But I'm calling them because I need to be the one nurturing them.
Right. Yep.
So he puts them in the report. He doesn't tell them I'm going to call them. He asks them if it's okay if we follow up with them, every couple of months to see what's going on. And I call them the next day. Right? Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Hank.
Yeah, this is him.
Hank, don't hang up on me. I know you talked to my assistant yesterday. This is Ralph Nudie. I just wanted to thank you for, allowing us to put you in our home action report. I don't have an agenda other than to get to know you and let you know that I appreciate it and let you know that I'm on hand if you have any real estate questions. Do you have any?
Not at the moment.
Okay, great. I've got you set up. I don't know if you got the first value report from me or not, but I just tweaked it. So I'm going to send out another one. So if you didn't get the first one because it was auto-generated, you're going to get the one from me with me looking at some numbers. And when you're looking at it, you have any questions about any of the numbers, feel free to give me a call anytime. Okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks a lot, Hank. Bye-bye. That's it. Super. I'm not looking to do anything. They might have changed their mind, but you don't want to try and sell them when you know they don't want to be sold.
Yeah.
They're a long-term nurture. And you'll know when I say I'm here to answer any real estate questions you have. Do you have any? If they're warmer than that, they'll let you know.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You don't have to dig too deep in that call. I think that
you don't want to dig deep. What you want to do is hit them in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you want to hit them every 90. Yeah. And so that's kind of what you do with your long-term nurtures. Your warms and hots, it's a little bit different, but they're trying to categorize them as warm or hot, take notes, and then hit me as Ralph follow-up. So when I'm looking at it, I know which one they categorize them as. I'm probably going to pull the call and listen to it. There's only 3 or 4 a day. All right. I'm not going to auto dial them. I'm going to dial them directly through my follow-up boss number. Yeah. All right. And all I'm going to do is make sure that I've established the relationship. Mm-hmm. That's it. That is the last piece where you're turning a cold call, like I said yesterday, into a warm lead when the time comes. Because what happens from there is these people start accessing your report, and you get reports on who's accessing the report and how often, and if they've adjusted their mortgage balance. And then what you do eventually in the follow-up calls, and we'll talk about nurturing your database later on, but in the follow-up calls, you're going to find out what was it they would buy if they were moving, and you're going to set them up on listing alerts And you're going to get them used to the idea of just kind of using you as a resource. And then the system is going to track their behavior. And when they become a hot lead, they become your hot lead.
Right.
And that's a very exciting place to be. And that's all I have for part 2 of cold calling karate. So with that, what do you guys have before we close?
Yeah, anything, Kelsey?
No, I
Would you?
covered a lot.
So a question for Kelsey then would be: after you've seen all this, do you think that's good for an agent to really jump in and start using as a new agent?
Yeah, it's not things that they teach you in real estate schools. So it's definitely a start to get customers and build those relationships to get some leads eventually when they become hot.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I'm glad you brought up real estate school. If you're a new agent, I want you to fully understand what they teach you in real estate school.
You want me to say it?
I'm going to give them my definition. They teach you,
right,
they teach you 2 things in real
Because I
estate
do
school.
teach it.
They do not teach you how to sell real estate in real estate school.
Nope.
They teach you 2 things: how to pass the test
yeah.
and how not to go to jail while selling real estate.
1000%.
That's it. That's their job. It's up to you to learn how to sell real estate, either during that process or after that process.
Yeah, I'll say something probably really stupid, but I'm gonna say it. So when I went to real estate school, it's 2 weeks of your life, pass your test, and then hey, you think you're prepared, but there's so much more education that goes into it. So there was a lot more classes and things to really focus my attentions on, learn. There's so much more than what they ever taught in real estate school. I think they could actually make it just a college, 2 4-year degree course.
What I love about this business is it's almost the antithesis of that.
What, that you get to go out?
There's no going to college. You can't go to college to get good at this. You can't.
So
have
where
to-
do you gain that experience then?
You've got to go out. That's like, you can't learn to play football by reading a book on football. All right.
So what do you think? It's like mentorship?
It is taking action,
Action.
and then it is taking inventory of your action. Then it is making corrections, and then it's taking action again. Unfortunately, most agents over prepare. They have call reluctance, and they over prepare because of that. They can't get out of their own head. They'll take courses, they'll study, they'll learn everything. They won't do it. Listen, go out there and screw it up.
Fail.
Yep.
It's the only way you're going to really learn.
Yep.
Yeah. Go out there and look like an idiot.
Well, I wouldn't go that.
I mean, Ralph, you said this before. The entry bar is so low.
Yes, to get into the industry, the entry bar is so low.
Extremely low.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what state you're in. To get in, some are harder than others, but for the most part, it's really easy. And then one of the biggest mistakes that I see when I'm mentoring, coaching, and training agents is they don't treat this like a business at all. They don't treat it like a business. They treat it like, hey, I've got a bunch of free time, and when's the lead's gonna actually turn in, and all this stupid stuff that just doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter.
It matters none.
No.
It matters none. What matters is get out there, grind it out, put your name out there, talk to people, all of that. We have an upcoming lesson on leveraging your sphere, which is the most important thing that you can do beside. Yeah, I said the 2 most important things is dialing for dollars, which most people will not do, and leveraging the people you know, and that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah,
and we'll definitely get to that.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think that I almost took a sip out of Kelsey's drink here.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Well, because I have one of those, but mine's not yellow. Mine's orange.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This
So
isn't
be
mine.
happy.
Be happy.
Be happy.
So that's it for Team Ninja RE and Cold Calling Karate Part 2.
Yeah. Hiya.
Hiya! Hiya! And that's the end.